Hello, this is Peaceful Anarchism on the Voluntary Virtues Network every Thursday at 1 p.m. You can also catch us on the Conscious Resistance Network YouTube channel and website. So today we have Seda Essence, who is a Reiki practitioner from Texas, and she's going to give us a little bit of insight into this fascinating energy work that can be very deeply transformational in many people. So Seda, tell us a little bit about Reiki and maybe some of the history of it.
Okay. Well, hello. History. You want to start there? Okay. Well, actually, there's a few different explanations of the history of Reiki, and this is something like you can read up on. There's a lot of places to online that will give you kind of a little bit different variances in the explanation of the history. Such as one place is reiki.org, and then there's a lot of really good books. So as far as history goes, supposedly it dates back before I don't know any record so of it, but it dates way back. And there's a man named how do you say his name here? Let me see, because I always struggle with pronunciation. Sorry. Where do I have it? I have it in front of me. Usui. Anyway, Dr. Usui. His first name starts with an M. Mikao. And he's a Japanese man who, that's where the history is kind of we're not sure exactly how he came to wanting to learn it or understand it, or what his original beliefs were. But ultimately, he refounded Reiki. He brought it back to present time. And so, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of, I said.
So it started in Japan?
Well, it started before Japan, but this Japanese man brought it back, and Reiki is a Japanese word, actually. So, yeah, I don't know.
I guess, would that be considered related to the Qi in Chinese medicine? Qi.
Okay. The Qi, is the Japanese word for Qi.
Yeah.
Exactly, for energy. So if you're, to define Reiki, which is where I would start before I even go to history.
Good.
Yeah. So Reiki, Rei, I've heard it explained as universal life force, spiritual, and then energy, healing energy. It's kind of a intelligence energy, and then the key is energy, is also healing energy. So, again, I've heard it called healing love energy, universal energy, God energy. So, yeah.
So would that be related to Nikola Tesla when he was trying to access the universal energy, the 0-point energy or radiant energy? You familiar with his work at all?
I've heard. I don't know. I don't know if it would be, because I think Reiki is actually a system. I understand it's a system of technology. It's, in a sense, this healing intelligence. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to. So, there's lots of explanations of energy and life force, and that we are made up of energy. Mm. So, and then Reiki is just an element of it that, I don't know, it gives you life. It gives you. Mm-hmm. So it's part of it. Yeah, I was probably, if he's trying to explain that, then it probably is connected. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that humans don't know. So
yeah, we're trying to figure all this out. So.
Actually, I just thought of this. There's a mushroom in Chinese medicine. It's an herb called the reishi mushroom. Have you heard of that one? The reishi mushroom, also called I think the Latin is the Ganoderma lucidum mushroom, and it's I guess yeah, it's a Japanese mushroom, but it's very powerful tonic, like especially for promoting longevity, strengthening, basically probably all of the organs. Energies is very general tonic, very powerful. Also has anti-cancer properties and very powerful immune boosting properties. So I'm just thinking about the word reishi, REI, right? It's in the beginning.
Oh,
So maybe that has a lot to do with the
the healing,
Yeah,
the
sure.
healing part of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So just made that connection now.
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah, that makes sense. So
Cool.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what kinds of illnesses can benefit from Reiki treatment?
Okay, essentially, every kind of illness can benefit from Reiki, and has even, I don't know, I think I read that has even been proven. Reiki has been proven to be effective for all and any kind of illness. So, and basically how that kind of works is Reiki works on all levels. I mean, it penetrates like the levels physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, which are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and because it's this, I mean, the connective energy, I mean, it's healing energy that it can heal, it can affect every aspect.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty simple answer, but yeah,
So give me some like recent case or some cases that you saw really were helped by your treatments.
yeah, I can do that. Okay. Well, I mean, there's people who've come to me with structural pain for starters. Like in their just neck pain or foot pain, and I give them Reiki for starts. And this is not an illness, but it is like an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the Reiki, relieved that pain. And so, and then, I had someone who came to me with psoriasis. Actually, we weren't sure if it was psoriasis or shingles because they didn't get tested, but it was the rash all over their body.
Mm-hmm.
And that, after 3 Reiki sessions and a lot of information that was received on through the Reiki sessions, because it just, that's something else to talk about. But we were able to get some information to help, some intuitive information to help further this person what they needed to do for themselves, and within 3 sessions it cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
Illnesses that I have experienced. Let's see, trying to remember. I haven't personally worked on a lot of people with like major illnesses. I've helped people with just different like maybe injuries, but I've read a lot and talked to people a lot about them helping people who are going through cancer treatments, and they don't say that it necessarily cures. You can't say that anything cures, right? But like it definitely,
Exactly.
yeah,
You
it
don't,
aids.
yeah.
It aids in the definitely relieving a lot of the side effects or the pain or the discomfort and any of that. I mean, yeah. So,
Cool. Yeah. So you said you get some thoughts that come to you as you're in the treatment, right? So it's like you're in a trance, something like that, or you're just very focused, or maybe like a meditative state.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's a very meditative state, and I would say, like for me, like the way the information comes. I mean, everybody kind of receives information. Maybe some people receive it the same way a lot of people do, but a lot of us differently. And for me, I receive like just I close my eyes and I get images of things for I connect to them. And, I'm working on them. I'm connecting to their energy field and getting answers for whatever it is they need. And I credit it to the Reiki, giving me that information. So, yeah, that's how it works for me. I get images and, very visual. So,
Cool.
um,
All right, so I guess that's a good segue into
yeah.
your explanation on how
Oh,
it
Lord.
would yeah, how the mechanics behind a Reiki session works, especially long distance, because that is particularly what shocks people when I tell them that um, a person treated my wife from many states away. They're like, "What? How did that happen?"
Yeah, it's
So
pretty astounding, actually. Yeah. Um, and okay, so we were talking about um, this, and I'm going to go ahead and say, first of all, when you learn Reiki, which is something that is basically passed to you from your teacher, to start with that, you can learn all about Reiki. You can learn about its history. You can learn what it is, and you can hear all these stories. But when you actually receive Reiki, which is something you receive, is something that's called an attunement. And this is what a teacher will pass to you. And this is how you receive and open yourself to Reiki, first of all. And it's pretty amazing, because I was even reading about some people who did energy work, were really good, like just knew how to really manipulate energy, were really good at it, had done it for years. And they met this guy who taught Reiki and thought probably they could do anything already that he was going to teach them. But then once he passed them the attunement, so they were like, oh, we'll just do this, to support you, whatever. And then once they received the attunements, they noticed an increase in their abilities, like they had stronger energy flow coming from them. And so there's definitely something distinct about Reiki energy versus just energy work. Okay. And then when you learn Reiki, furthermore, there are there's actually, well, there's levels of attunements. Okay, there's some people have broken it down to 3 levels, and some people 4 levels, and then there's a lot of and this is traditional Reiki that I'm talking about. There's actually a lot of I've been reading about all these other kinds of Reiki that are questionable. People are like coming up with these new formats of Reiki. They're like people, traditional Reiki, or people are like, I don't know about this stuff. So that's just something else to keep in mind. But with these levels of Reiki, like the traditional levels, level 2 is when you learn these symbols of Reiki, and these symbols increase your Reiki abilities. They increase your they increase your Reiki abilities, and one of the symbols is a long distance Reiki symbol. It's a distance Reiki symbol, and this basically allows the energy to travel. Like it breaks down space and time, and allows the energy to reach anywhere in the world. And so, and it's just really neat. It can not just anywhere in the world, but you can use it for yourself healing, and for your past, and send it to your past, or send it to some. So that's because there's no time and space. So now and then, but then I have this awesome answer that I was telling you about. It's really complex answer I got from my sweet husband that I was going to read. If you'd like, I can go ahead and read that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to distant Reiki, so in our daily life, we experience space and time into a single interwoven continuum, and we are in one place at a time. But when we do certain Reiki symbols, the distant Reiki symbol, we're able to connect with the spirit world, or the 4th dimension, and sometimes even higher if the awareness is there. And in this place, the normal space-time continuum is dislodged, and distance and time do not become a barrier. In the 4th dimension, we can access several places at once, and thus distance is only an illusion. And the energy work that we do is able to reach people wherever they might be located, and we can also move through time and send Reiki, like I said, to our past. And then he says, mathematically speaking, we can account for up to 10 dimensions plus time, making 11. And after that, things become unstable, and we're unable to scientifically vouch for anything beyond. And science is finally catching up with us, and string theory is attempting to explain some of these subjects, and Michio Kaku is one of the guys doing this. So for all of you guys listening, if that helps explain it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that what you said about science catching up, because
Yeah.
that's exactly how Chinese medicine is. The relationship between that and allopathic medicine, in that like I remember my teacher when I was studying. He's a Chinese guy he's an MD from China, actually, and also an acupuncturist herbalist. And he was basically saying that there's a recent study that came out that showed that the I forget, I guess it's like proteins in bone are also found in the kidneys. So now there's a link between the bones and the kidneys, right? But according to Chinese medicine, we have always linked bone health to kidney function for millennia, right?
Yeah.
But but now it's validated with Western science, right?
Yeah, right.
So now,
yeah,
and then
we need Western science.
yeah, so now it's accepted, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad how if it doesn't show up on the screen, or a blood test or something like that, then it's not considered to be relevant, right?
Right.
You find that true?
That's what people, like a lot of people are programmed to believe. Anyway, yeah, that's how we see a lot of things. If it doesn't show up, if we don't see it, it's hard you can't believe it or whatever. So yeah. I mean, I don't feel that way.
Of course not. How can you feel like doing Reiki? You can't. That's impossible to feel that way.
No, I know. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy because, I came to Reiki because I received it. I felt it. It was just an experience for me. And then so it was like, oh, wow, there's something there, and then just being sensitive and open to the possibilities of these kinds of things working. And so
I'm sure you got a lot of interesting comments, like when you tell somebody you're a Reiki practitioner, then you get like people are in disbelief, or do they say anything?
That okay, so I did I had a massage practice, for years before I really got into Reiki. And then when I got into Reiki, it was like all I wanted to do. And so I was trying to tell people, like my clients who were used to deep tissue, like really hardcore hands-on.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to explain it to them, and they're like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Can you use your elbow next time, please?
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, that's not really what I feel I want," but I haven't ran into a lot of opposition. Just mostly people kind of like more weary than anything. But well. So they just kind of like give me that kind, like, sure, that's interesting, and then kind of just shrug it away.
If you're into that stuff, okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. That works for somebody.
It's not like you're saying it's better than massage. It's just different, right? It caters to different problems. Would you say? Would you say that's true?
Yeah, and then I think also it is very helpful for people to be receptive, for it to really benefit them more. I mean, to work. Obviously that's anything.
Yeah.
So, at first, when I first got into it, I was so enthusiastic and like just excited. I was like, yeah, I think this is what the answer, this works for everything. It's very profound, you help people, with the mental emotional aspects, and then it can heal all the physical aspects. And I was feeling that way, and I was trying to convince people, but then I kind of came back to balance and was like, okay, yeah, massage is very good too. Like, even though I was doing it for so long, I knew it was good, but I just was so excited. about the Reiki
Yeah, I
that
mean, it makes sense. You learn something new. You get excited about it. You want
yeah.
to learn as much as you can in it. That's what my wife thinks that my interest in voluntarism and anarcho-capitalism is just a phase. She's like, it's just a phase. I'm just waiting for you to get over it. I wonder what the next phase is going to be. Now you're into this anarchy stuff.
It's kind of true though. I mean, it is like it's what's currently needed, and like what was currently needed in my life when I first came to Reiki. It's just like this is really important right now, and we need it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten one Reiki treatment, but a long time ago, and that was like I was at this symposium. That was like I was actually that's where I first found out about my college, and that's when I registered for it. But yeah, since then, not really. But actually, I am interested in though the difference or the relationship. I think you mentioned this between like a Qigong master, somebody who emits Qi, and a Reiki practitioner. What would you say the difference is between the two of those?
So you're talking about a Qigong master emitting energy. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
experienced someone like a Qigong. I've never experienced a Qigong master, so
yeah. Me
I'm not
neither. I
sure.
mean, I just read about it. I'm just curious. Like,
Okay.
do you
So
know
when
if
you
it?
say emitting energy, are you talking about like they actually do energy work to heal people?
Yeah,
Emitting?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Similar to I guess because not touching the body, right? Most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and able to how do you say emit
Mm-hmm.
substantial amounts of
Channel.
heat
Okay.
from their hands. That actually, I think I saw this one video where it's actually like registered on some device that yeah, they're emitting something powerful. You know.
Okay. If I was to define that on a personal understanding, which I feel is limited because I don't know much about the Qigong
Okay.
practice. I have done Qigong like once or twice. Yeah, a couple YouTube videos just moving my arms and stuff. It felt good, but I
Felt good.
haven't, I haven't like learned a lot about it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but see, what I understand is like Reiki. There's an actual like intelligence to it, a specific like intelligence that um, you don't have to all you have to do is get attuned to Reiki. You don't have to like learn how to master Reiki. You will if you practice Reiki and you use it, it will get stronger in you and you will learn a lot because it's an intelligence and it gives you intelligence. And so and that's been my experience, and everyone I know who does it's experience actually does it. But so with Qigong, I mean, if you're just like learning how to manipulate energy alone, which you can do through a lot of martial arts, and you can do through meditation alone, I would imagine that that's just learning how to manipulate energy, which we can all do very easily. And then, but then Reiki versus Reiki is this actual like intelligent technology type of energy that's coming in for healing specifically to positively charge any kind of negative spaces in our energy fields, and also just I don't know, it's interesting because you can use Reiki for so many things. Like you can charge and and you learn this with experience, and I say you can charge like I've used it for like traveling, for example, like sat and visualized the Reiki going ahead of me in my journey that I'm going on. And then what I experience when I actually sit down and focus on doing something like this is my whole trip just super smooth, and even little amazing little things happen during the trip, and I'm like, whoa, that was totally Reiki. And this is just one example, but versus when I don't sit down and do it, the trip might not go as smooth, it might not like be as pleasant or whatever. So
Nice. I like
Yeah,
that. That's
it's
good.
really
That's
really
good.
interesting. I don't know.
I mean,
So,
you could also, I guess, interpret that as, you know, we construct our own destiny according to how we see ourselves, and how we see ourselves in the future. And therefore success is not necessarily an accident, but just a matter of perspective, and a perspective of yourself and how you see yourself playing out, and it's just a matter of
well,
achieving.
there's that. Yeah, there's that. But I didn't even do that. All I did was send Reiki, like
Yeah.
with the symbols. You know what I mean? So this is the difference. Like mastering what you're explaining, which is sitting down and really
Hmm.
focusing on the energy and like manipulating with your visions and with your, your
Hmm.
just yeah, all that work. Versus Reiki, you don't have to. You just get out of the way. You just send it, and it does the work for you. So I don't know. That's how I would
Cool.
differentiate it.
All
Because
right.
even when I give Reiki and when I started learning Reiki, like from the beginning, like level 1, um, I didn't even feel a lot going on. Like you'll start feeling different things in your hands as you get better at it. But in the beginning, I didn't really feel much. And I was working, that reminded me, like, I wanted to tell you, I was remembering as we were talking, like, one other incident, I was working on someone who was having thyroid problems. And they weren't sure exactly, they hadn't gotten a full diagnosis, but they knew they were having thyroid problems. So I was working on them with the Reiki, and it got better. And then when they went, it just got better. Like, and I worked on them every week.
Hmm.
And but this is when I just started Reiki, and I was still learning,
Hmm.
and it was like, didn't
Cool.
have to know, it just worked.
Yeah.
So this is the difference. Like a Qigong master, I imagine, is like someone who's really mastering,
Hmm.
like, I don't know. And there is such a thing as a Reiki master, but usually that comes, after a while of really practicing and learning and mastering it. So,
So you keep mentioning these different levels, right? Level one, two.
yes.
So can you explain what those different levels like entail?
Um, kind of. I mean, with like summarizing it, yes. Basically, like level 1 is considered the like physical level of healing, and when you learn level 1, Reiki level 1, and you get attuned, it's just, I guess, um, trying to think of the best way to really explain this, but and that's just it. Like you can use this, you can use it on yourself, and you can use it on others. Um, but it's just very basic level 1 physical healing. And I don't know, like for me, I have a hard time saying it's just physical, because I believe everything is connected regardless.
Hmm.
Like,
Oh yeah.
and then when you go on to level 2, it's supposedly mental emotional healing. So, and this is when, like, when you're learning Reiki, your intuition abilities increase, or your psychic abilities, as they call them, sometimes increase. They get stronger. Um, and then level 3 they call the soul level healing, which also is the level where you become a master or a teacher. First a teacher, then a master of Reiki. So that's when you start to learn how to teach it. So
Wow.
yeah.
So how do you know like what level you're on? Like you can just
Well,
sense it intuitively, or
no, you get attuned to each of these levels. So you take like the classes individually,
yeah.
and you like and I mean there are people who will teach all 3 in one at once, like in a row,
Hmm.
combine them in a sense. But then there are people who will teach it individually, and it's just the point of getting these attunements with these intentions and taking it deeper each time, learning more about it. Like I said, in level 1, you don't learn the symbols. You just learn about like mainly the history, what it is, and you learn about the different levels, but you don't learn them. You get attuned, and then you start practicing. And level 2 is when you again you learn more. You learn the symbols, and you get attuned again, and then you practice it, get stronger. And this is my experience. And then level 3, you learn even more. You learn more symbols. You learn how to teach it. You learn how to pass attunements, and and each time you experience personal healing that just keeps going deeper and deeper with it as well. So
Cool.
yeah.
So just can you walk us through a typical treatment? Like I assume most of the time you're not touching the patient, right?
Actually, yeah, you do most of the time touch the patient.
Oh, you do? Okay. See?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
So yeah, it's considered a healing touch
Okay.
a lot of times. Light touch. You don't have to touch for it to work. Like we were talking about long distance Reiki, but even in a session, you still don't have to touch with or without that distant Reiki healing symbol. And usually you just basically place your hands lightly in the chakras of the person and channel through the chakras, which there's basically 7 main chakras, but there's a lot more than that and throughout our body. And they're, I don't know if you know what chakras are, but they're the main like energy source points in our body. And so there's lots of charts out there. If any of your viewers don't know what that is, just look up chakras, CHARKRAS, chakras, and you can see and learn so much about chakras. But yeah,
but chakras is mainly like an Indian concept, right? Ayurvedic medicine, or yoga or something like that, right? Would you say?
I actually don't know the origin. I probably.
Okay.
That's probably, I don't know.
Okay. Just an aside.
I thought you would know that because I don't know. Like, it's just used in so many different. I mean, I just see it like from different angles, but I don't know the exact origin. I mean, I've seen it used. In reflexology. I've seen chakras. I don't know, like just individually and. Huh?
No, I'm just saying. I think it has roots in ancient Indian healing traditions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Somewhere in the east, right?
Yeah.
And then if the person has specific problem areas, you obviously lay your hands on those areas as well. Focus on those areas individually as well. So wherever they are. Yeah, and then just all fronts. If you're laying on the table, and you stay fully clothed, and you just lay there and relax and basically go into a meditative state while the practitioner moves around, placing their hands on different parts of your body to channel the energy. And yeah, you can do both sides of the body, front and back, and just anywhere. So
from the patient's perspective, what would they be feeling? What could they be feeling?
Well, definitely deeply relaxed. You'll feel different things. I've heard people say they feel tingling, warmth. I've worked on people that actually do kind of go in a trance sometimes and also get a lot of visuals themselves. So,
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the deep relaxation is the main thing, is what when you put the body in that deep relaxed state, that's another way that Reiki really helps. It puts you in a meditative state so that you can experience deeper levels of healing. So
I assume that can complement like shamanism, right? Like
yes, definitely. It complements shamanism. It complements probably any kind of healing modality. I would imagine. I see that and have heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you told some? I guess you said you're not really that much into doctors, as I'm not either. But have you told any medical doctors that you're a Reiki practitioner, or?
Gosh. I'm like, have I seen a medical doctor? Like,
they don't exist. They don't exist to us.
Yes, I've become a.
Well, actually, that's another good question. How about your kids? So I assume you treat your kids a lot?
Yeah. Yes. And like they're asking me for it. Can you give me Reiki? My foot hurts. Can you give me
Really?
Reiki? My belly? Yes, yes. They feel it. They like it. It works. It's amazing. And even like, okay, there's the minor incidences when they have little aches, and then there's major incidences when, you know, if they've fallen, or one time my son got stung by a wasp twice.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, I was putting the Reiki on the stings, and but you know, he would move my hands around. It's pretty neat. Children are really sensitive, and they will move you. Like, I want to hear, I want to hear. Like, that's what he was doing. So, and after about 30 minutes, he didn't feel it anymore, the stinging.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know
Powerful.
if that's a lot or not, but he was pretty traumatized by the two stings. He was, I think, 3 or 4.
Wow.
So
That's yeah, that's definitely painful for
little ones, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember really quick story. I was outside. I remember in in the garden, my parents' house, and I was walking on the grass, and then I stepped on something soft, and it turned out to be a beehive that was in the ground. I don't understand how that could happen,
Ouch.
but yeah, it was in the ground, and so I got stung once, and then yeah, so they all came out, right? I got stung once, started running, got stung again, ran to the door, got stung a third time.
Ouch.
They were following me. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, ouch.
Yeah,
Oh, you're lucky you didn't get stung more.
yeah. I guess not,
Yeah.
right?
With one step, that's crazy. Like,
I know, and I remember feeling like, wow, this is a soft area. Like, what is this?
oh my gosh.
Immediately, they just came out.
Ouch.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess allergies, like allergic reactions to bees.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm kind of lucky not to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I've been stung like probably hundreds of times when I was a kid, and
Wow, hundreds of
it
times.
was
Oh my
I
God.
just like I felt that way. I mean, it was a lot, and we lived in the mountains, and we lived in old houses. We'd move around, but this one in particular, like, there was always a wasp in the house, always,
Wow,
and like
really?
especially my room, and like
Ooh,
it was
wow,
dark
wow.
wood walls, dark wood floors, and there were these dark brown wasps. So you wouldn't know it, you wouldn't see them, and all of a sudden you're stepping on it, and like,
Hmm.
or all of a sudden, I don't know, they just come out of nowhere, and like, just one time, like I never had major reactions, just swell up normally, but one time I was at a friend's house, and I stepped on a bee, and I freaked out. And it was the one time in my life I got an allergic reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go to get a Benadryl shot or something because I was
Yeah.
breaking out in hives.
Wow.
And they basically, my dad said it was because he wasn't there to calm me down like he always was.
Hmm.
So, you know, that reaction made a difference. Like when I couldn't calm down, I broke out in hives. So
Wow. Yeah,
so that makes a difference.
just reminded me of since I'm an acupuncturist, I had a teacher who specializes in 5 elements acupuncture, which is a tradition of acupuncture very closely related to psychotherapy. So she focuses mainly on emotional healing.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you heard of that 5-element acupuncture?
I haven't.
It's really interesting, and she taught. She was my ethics teacher, but she like took a couple of classes to teach us that, which is pretty cool, and I learned a lot about it. And I mean, she does acupuncture too, but it's mainly talk. Like she I remember her saying, like, we put the needles in, and she's like, the problem with acupuncture is you just put the needles in and then you go away and you leave the patient alone. Why don't you talk to the patient? That's perfect time to talk to the patient. So she sits down while they have the needles in, and she just talks to them, and that's fascinating because so she also does what reminded me of this was she also does bee venom acupuncture. Have you heard of that about that? That's
Mm-mm.
fascinating. And actually, she wrote a book about it called "Be in Balance," Be in Balance,
Nice.
and this fascinating book. and so it's I'm not sure how old it is. I think it's pretty old therapy, but so basically the venom is like an immune stimulant. So it stimulates the immune system, especially effective for autoimmune disorders, right? So very severe cases of multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, problems where the immune system is attacking the body, and so they do intentional bee stings in those affected joints, and it brings about a very dramatic healing response, right? And I guess it is painful for the people, but they get relief from the joint pain. And also I remember her telling me, like, people who are wheelchair bound, like they get so much improvement that they can start walking eventually again. So it's really fascinating, the healing benefits of like bee venom. Like, you never think of, like, bee venom, right?
Wow, I've never heard of that. That's pretty impressive. And actually, towards the end of our stay in that old farmhouse where I got stung so often, like the last few times I got stung, I didn't react at all. I mean, it was like I became immune to them.
Yeah, wow.
And I've often wondered, like with ant bites that I get so much of here in Texas. Ant bites.
Really? Oh, shoot.
Fire ants are everywhere.
Oh my God.
Yes, you can't go outside barefoot without getting bit. It's crazy. So
wow.
Yeah, so but I've often wondered also just about this. I don't know. I think they're bites or stings. I think they bite. I don't know. But I've wondered about them, like in that respect of acupuncture, and thinking, are they helping us? Like, I wonder if that's, like, sometimes it's helping us. So that's very interesting to hear that they are actually using it to help people in that respect.
Yeah. So of course, every time the bee stings, it dies, right? Because the stinger pulls out, all the entrails go out with the stinger, and so you see it, like, pulsating and going deeper, with the venom. And it's amazing, how that is such a powerful healing substance for us, for certain types of people, right? It's just
that is very amazing.
And so what she would do is she would tell them, especially with people who really need it frequently, she would tell them, you need to raise your own bees and do it yourself. So there's a certain way that you can grow bees. Like in some kind of jar, with a sponge and some honey and everything, and you just raise them yourself, and then you with a tweezer you get one and you
sting yourself.
You sting yourself. Yeah.
That's hard.
I mean, it's kind of sad. Some people get disturbed because every time you do it, the bee dies. So it's like, it's kind of some people have issues with that. But I mean, the way she describes it, it's like in our body, we are one functioning organism, and we have, billions or trillions of cells that constantly are dying all the time, right, and creating new ones, right? But all of them result in a functioning one functioning organism, right? So in that sense, the hive is a functioning organism. But I could definitely see how some sociopathic people can relate that to governments and say, people, all for one for all kind of thing. But that's how she I guess validated it, and described it. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. It is very interesting.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating. I definitely want to. I would be interested in getting into it, but I don't know about having bees around me all the time. I'm sure accidentally, somebody who does bee venom acupuncture would, accidentally get stung every once in a while as well. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a drawback. So let me just ask you one last question. So if someone were searching for a Reiki practitioner, like, what criteria could they use to discern a good practitioner from a from a not so good one? What would you say? What like how can they tell, or what questions could they ask, or things like anything like that? Or you just have to have the experience to know, I guess, right?
I think, like, with that kind of question, I think the answer is pretty universal for when you're seeking any kind of practitioner. For, you, first of all, if you can get a referral, that's always helpful. But even then, sometimes I've referred people to people and they don't quite resonate. That person may have helped me a lot, but they didn't really help the other person because they didn't quite resonate. They were just very different. Their energies were very different. So you want to resonate with the person, and you can find out if you do, in a phone conversation, how well do you communicate? You can, I've recently assisted a friend in teaching a Reiki class, and this guy just found her online. She has a website, and she has some videos, and he watched her videos, and he just felt like he really resonated with her, and he wanted to learn from her. So, whenever someone's talking about what they do, if they're talking about, I do Reiki, is it making sense what they're saying to you? Is it resonating? It's like, do you feel it? Does it feel right? You always want to follow that. Does it feel right? I think that's important in all the decisions we make in our life, and if we're going to seek healing assistance from someone, do they feel right? I mean, that's my best answer.
Good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Because in all professions, there's good apples and bad apples, right? It's like because a Chinese acupuncturist in Chinatown who doesn't speak English hurt you, all acupuncturists are bad, right?
Right. No,
people make that kind of generalization, right? And it's kind of sad because you're missing out on a pretty good experience that you might have had with other people that are more gentle, that are more more compassionate, right?
Absolutely.
So definitely, I would definitely say that as well. That if you can get a referral to somebody, somebody can speak highly of another person, then that's a good indication.
That's always helpful. Yes, excellent. Always helpful, and if there's ever information on that person before you meet, if you don't get to meet them before the session, if there's some kind of information or testimonies online or some kind of blog, read it, feel it out. How does it sound to you? Does it sound like this person knows what they're talking about? Or does it sound like they're a total whack job? Because there's definitely those guys. And then the whole point of there being different forms or all these new Reiki techniques that are coming out and are pretty questionable. Maybe some of them are legit, but I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on them or experienced them. And then the more I've read from people who are into traditional Reiki, they're questioning them too and saying, well, maybe these people have some legitimate intentions for helping and healing, but is it really Reiki? What are you really, you might go get something out of it, but is it really Reiki? And then there's even this claim that you can pass attunements on the internet, and there's these crazy, I was just reading this, there are these people who are offering things through eBay where you can bid on stuff like this, and I'm just like,
really?
This doesn't seem like a very, I don't know, really low prices. I don't know, if it's really legit. I don't know. You gotta. That's what I would watch out for.
Just send me your money. I'll email you the attunement. It's in the attachment.
Exactly. You gotta go. I don't know about this. So
once the money clears, I'll send you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
So when you're looking at Reiki, those are kinds. You always want to be aware of those kinds of possible scams that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if you're just looking up somebody online, it's definitely harder than getting a referral. To know.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, good answer. All right, well, thank you very much, Seda, for this interview. I appreciate it. So if there's anything else you want to finish up with, and any website you have or videos that you make, or if people want to get a Reiki treatment from you, where would they reach you?
Where would you reach me? Actually, I guess you could find me on Facebook as Seda Essence. You can message me there. I haven't really developed any kind of websites at this point. I've been thinking a lot about it, but because I primarily focus on homeschooling my children, I just haven't worked on developing my business as much. I get referrals, and then I have some people that I see regularly. But if you wanted to come see me, you can message me on Facebook. And I'd also like to include, I don't know if you attach links to this video.
Oh, yeah, definitely, in the description, okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will include some links to where you can look up more information on Reiki.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, and books that I would recommend.
Yeah.
So we can include that.
Yep, anything you want to send me, I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Definitely. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much, Seda.
You're welcome.
So this is Peaceful Anarchism on the Voluntary Virtues Network and the Conscious Resistance Network. Wishing everyone have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.